Today's going to be a pretty quick video, but it's going to be my first impressions on the Westcott FJ400, which is a brand new strobe from Westcott. If you've been following the channel for a while, you probably know I've been using the Flashpoint Explorer 600 for all of my flash needs for the last few years now, anytime I've needed like a full power strobe. And even though that's a more powerful strobe than the Westcott FJ400, I'm actually switching over to the FJ400 just because it kind of beats the Flashpoint in every other category. Now, I don't own the FJ400 yet. It just came out and I got to test it out a little while ago before it was officially released, and Westcott reached out and asked if I wanted to basically just try it out for a little bit and send it back to him, which I did, and I already missed that thing, so I'm excited to actually replace my Explorer 600 with the FJ400. The FJ400 is a 400 watt second strobe with a less than 1 second recycle time at full power, and you can get up to 480 flashes at full power on just one single charge with the battery. It does have a rechargeable battery, although you can plug the strobe directly into the wall as well. The FJ400 is capable of TTL shooting as well as high-speed sync up to 1/8000th of a second, which is great. High-speed sync is just sort of becoming standard across all platforms and all brands. To use any kind of modifier, it has a Bowens mount, which is great because there are tons of modifiers to choose from in Bowens mount, and the Westcott Rapid Box, which is a modifier I've used a million times. It's what I'm using right now on my Aperture 120D. It's compatible with that strobe as well, which is great. This is by far my favorite modifier that I've ever owned. One of the more interesting things about the FJ400 though is the trigger that they made for it. It's a universal trigger, so normally whenever you would buy a strobe, you would have to buy a specific trigger made for that camera manufacturer that you're shooting with, but with this one, it's universal. Through the trigger itself, you can actually just select what camera it is you're shooting with, and it will work with that camera, which is just crazy. If you're shooting Sony, you do need to purchase an additional adapter. I think it's only $20, and you can buy it directly through the site when you're picking up the trigger. But just being able to have one trigger amongst a lot of different camera brands, if you're someone who shoots with different brands, you're normally going to have to buy two separate triggers and use one per camera. But now you can actually just take the trigger off, throw it on a different camera brand, and just select it on the menu in the trigger itself, and it's going to work, which is just crazy. It seems like that kind of thing should have been possible a while ago. This is the first time I've ever seen it, but yeah, just really, really convenient. Some of the first impressions I had with the strobe, number one, the build quality. It's got a really nice compact design, but it feels really solid and robust, so that's always comforting to hear anytime you're using something like that in real world settings. Sometimes things can get kind of roughed up, but it feels like it's going to be pretty durable, which is good. The menu system is pretty easy to navigate. I didn't have to mess with using the manual or anything like that. Just from kind of playing around with it, I was able to figure out how everything is laid out and how to access different parts of the menu, because overall it's a pretty simple design in terms of the different buttons that you have to choose from, but navigating through the screen on the device itself, it's pretty simple. Another interesting thing about this is the price point, because for this strobe, just the strobe itself, it's $570, where if you look at the Flashpoint or Godox equivalent, the AD400, you're looking at $650. So you're paying less for something from a brand like Westcott, where normally Godox and Flashpoint, those brands they're known for coming in at a lower price with just as many features or more, whereas this time Westcott has actually come in at a lower price point than Godox, which was really surprising to see, but I like knowing that I'm buying from a brand not only here in the States, but here in Ohio as well. It's really convenient for me, just being so close to them if I ever needed any kind of customer support. Luckily, I've never had issues with my Flashpoint Explorer 600 that I used for years, but I've heard a lot of mixed reviews from people who had issues and they couldn't reach customer service and they didn't really have any help. But with Westcott, I like knowing that I can have direct access to them really easily here in the States. But on top of that, they're just a worldwide, well-recognized and well-respected brand, which is just good having that kind of confidence in something that you're paying that much money for. But again, it's coming in less, and the trigger is going to be more expensive than Godox or Flashpoint triggers, but it's a universal one, so you only need to buy one, whereas other brands you might need to buy multiple triggers if you're shooting with multiple systems. So I don't know exactly how Westcott was able to pack in all these features and bring it in at a lower price point, but I'm extremely thankful that they did, because this thing has been awesome. Again, I only had it for a couple of days, so I didn't get a chance to use it in a ton of settings, but I shot some portraits of Molly at the house just against the wall in our living room, and I shot a couple photos of the kids as well, but it was just super easy to use and reliable. The really fast recycling time, again, I wasn't shooting these at full power, but I was shooting, at maybe a quarter power or an eighth power, somewhere around there, and I mean, it's just instant, and it kept up with me the entire time. I never had any issues waiting on the flash or misfiring or anything like that, so that was really nice. I also used it for the Santa photos that I did for Roast Coffee. It's something we do every single year, and it's always a lot of fun, and I used this strobe with a 5-foot Octabox that I rented from Westcott as well, and it worked flawlessly. So again, these are just my first impressions. I don't actually own one yet. I plan on purchasing one soon and replacing my Flashpoint Explorer 600. I've actually already sold that because I plan on purchasing one of these. It just worked great. I didn't really have any issues or complaints with it. There was nothing lacking that I wished it had, and again, the trigger was just super easy to use and really consistent. I had had some times in the past where either the trigger would go to sleep on my Flashpoint, or the strobe itself would go to sleep, or if I turned the camera off and turned it back on, I would have to go back in and change my settings. I liked everything just working really easily with this, so I'm definitely excited to pick one up. If you want to know more about the FJ400, there is plenty of information on Westcott's website, so I'll put links down below to the FJ400 site so you can check out everything and see some of the different kits that they offer, because they sell it with modifiers included, 2 light kits. There's a lot of different things you can choose from, so links for all of that is in the description. So if you've been curious about the FJ400, hopefully this was helpful for you. Again, there is a lot more information on the website, so definitely check that out. I just wanted to share my first impressions since I only had it for a couple of days, but I was lucky enough to try it out before it was officially released. So big thanks to Westcott for allowing me to do that. Again, if you have any questions, just let me know. I'll try to answer anything I can, but definitely check out the site since that's going to give you a lot more information and probably relaying that information better than I could. So thanks for checking this out. If you're new here, I have new videos every Monday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, as well as any other days where I get a chance to put up a new video, but that's it for today. So thank you guys for everything. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.